Everyone, welcome back to the new season of Informed Decisions. Potential title change for the channel may be upcoming soon, but it's all a work in progress. So once again, I'm your host Sam Levy. With me, as always, is my co-host.
Garrison Nickel.
Thank you. Okay, Garrison, we have two very special guests tonight. We have our friends Ashley Summers.
Hello.
And our other friend of the podcast, the wonderful Mr. Ryan C. Showers.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for having me. And Ashley, this is fun.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate you. In case you guys don't know, Ryan is the host of his very own Patreon channel, Scream with Ryan C. Showers. Ashley is the co-producer. They are a wonderful team together. They are part of the reason that Garrison and I met. So we're really happy that they're here tonight. And tonight's really, really special because I, as kind of an olive branch, decided to do something that everybody thought would be really fun except for me, but I've come to really, really enjoy this the whole time. So we're actually going to be discussing and ranking all the Taylor Swift albums. So I know this is something that everyone's really, really excited about, especially me, since I do not consider myself a Swiftie at all. But I love pop culture, and I am obviously not living under a rock. I know she's the biggest pop star in the world right now. So, and as somebody who loves making lists and talking about pop culture and how it reflects the world around us, I thought this would be a really, really fun topic to do. So we're going to discuss the albums in chronological order. We're going to share our feelings about them and what's good about them, what isn't good, what we like about them, what we don't, and then at the end we're going to rank them all. So once you guys are ready, let me know. Okay. All right. So, oh my God, the smiles in the room. I'm so glad this is really fun. I'm so glad you guys are loving this. This is great. All right. Okay. All right. Starting off, we have Taylor Swift's debut, a self-titled debut, 2006. I don't really have much to say about this one. It's a 16-year. It's a 16-year-old when she was 16 years old when she wrote it, and sounds more or less what like a 16-year-old would write who is a country fan.
All right, I'll go next, unless Garrison wants to, or Garrison, do you want to go? I don't want to like take over your show.
No, go ahead, go, because I need some time to think about it, because this is probably one of my least listened to albums.
Okay, well, I'm going to follow up on both of our previous wonderful hosts here. I'm going to say that I don't really listen to Debut that often. I don't before, it's not. I don't love a lot about it. I think that actually there's really good songwriting. And I remember a lot of the great songs that came out at the time of the release. But I am looking forward to the re-record just to see how her voice has changed from her first tryout to the 20th anniversary, hopefully. So, I would also say that my favorite song on the album is A Place in This World. So that is really all I got with Debut. It's like I'm not really an expert on Debut. I just don't really listen to it so much. And I'm sorry, Ash.
It's all right. I'll just say that my favorite song on it is Tim McGraw, and then since we're doing that now, we'll just like list our favorite songs in the album as we go along, and then do the ranking at the end. Cool. All right. Okay, Ash.
I love this album. I remember hearing it for the first time and feeling like I understood what she was talking about. I felt like most of the singer-songwriters that were out there were quite mature and like quite a bit older than me. I can respect them, but I didn't relate to them. And then I felt like the people my age that were releasing music were singing about things that were older than they were actually. Most of them had even experienced. And I don't think this sounds like a 16-year-old. I think it sounds like 16-year-old themes, but I think she's incredibly smart. I think she uses imagery in a really beautiful way. Like, just when people think about Tim McGraw, they also think of Taylor Swift. And like that's like her debut single is her saying, when you think of Tim McGraw, I hope you think of me. And 20 years later, I think it holds a lot of weight, and I cannot wait like I had a hard time listening to it when she didn't own this album, because I'm so diehard that I only listen to the things that she owned. And now that she owns this song, I was so excited that when she got the album back, because I was like, I can listen to it again and not feel any shame. And my favorite song on this album is Stay Beautiful.
I would like to say I am really excited about this episode because she does own her the originals now, and it is to take a sigh of relief because there's some of the originals I like better than the remasters. But I have fond memories of this album. I'm not a huge fan of this album. I just remember being in high school. I was a senior in high school, and my best friend loved this album. She got it for her birthday, and we would listen to it in my other best friend's truck. And my favorite song, the only song I really, the way I say that I could sing "Teardrops on My Guitar." I don't know why. I think I liked it back then. I like Our Song. I think that song is so the twang on her voice, the video. I think she looks really bubblegum in the video, and I like it for some reason. I just think it's a fun song. I think it's a fun song to ride around to. I think it's a very cute album. That's what I guess I have to say about it. I think it has really fun memories of being in high school and listening to it in my best friend's truck.
Yeah. I just want to say, Teardrops on My Guitar is such a good song. And I love that song because I had the biggest crush on a boy named Drew. And like, that's the name of the boy, like the name in the song. And he would literally sit beside me in class and just talked about his girlfriend the entire time. And I was just like, and then he told me, you kind of look like the Olsen twins, but like if they were really fucked up.
What the F?
And he was like, not like that, not like that, like just like a weirder version. And I was like,
He's not safe for
Oh.
himself.
I was
Boys are
like,
so stupid.
okay. And then I saw him years later, and let's just say, I feel like I'm thriving.
I
You
love
are,
it.
honey. You are.
Likely. Isn't the guy from One Tree Hill in the video the guy that Tyler something that he's a singer too? Am I misremembering who's in the video?
Oh yeah, he is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought there's a different guy from One Tree Hill in a different music video.
Oh yeah, but he's in the White Horse video, Steven,
Yeah.
right?
yeah.
I'm a bigger fan than I thought.
Ah. All right.
All right.
Amazing. So we're set. We're all set with the debut.
Yeah, it's
All
cute.
set. All right. Excellent. Okay. All right. Now moving on, we have album number 2, Fearless. Anybody want to start?
I'll start.
I'll
Oh,
go.
okay.
I'll go.
No, Garrison, this is your show, Garrison. You go.
I think Fearless is when I started becoming a real fan, though, not just a fan because somebody else listened to it. Because "You Belong to Me" is a huge song, and of course, what is the? I'm so like cancel me right now. What is the big song from that? "Love Story." Sorry, "Love Story" was huge too. I love the video. The guy in the video for "Love Story" is actually from where I'm from. Justin Gaston. He's from Pineville, which is like one town over from me. So that what people around here talked about it. They were like, "Oh, did you see Justin was in Taylor Swift's video?" But I just had such fond memories of the "Love Story" song, even though I'm not a huge fan of country, and it kind of has that crossover feel. But "You Belong to Me" was everywhere. I liked it a lot. But there's also my favorite song from that is there was a remix because she guest starred on Law and Order SVU, and they did a remix of "You're Not Sorry," and it. I love pop culture, Sam. Stop making fun of me. And then the remix of "You're Not Sorry" is so like it's very good, and it made me like a really big fan of her because I was like, this is different, and I really liked the lyrics of that song.
Awesome.
And I think that's it. I think that's
That's
all I
it. That's
love.
it.
And 15 is a really great song as well.
Yes. Okay. All right. So I will. Okay. So my thoughts on Fearless are that was really when I noticed that she started to become like this big, country icon, before she stopped pretending that she was country, but she still was kind of like, country pop at the time. And her songwriting really began to grow, and it really started to, it almost felt like, honestly, like a CW drama at the time, like the theme of the album. And it was like, it was, because it was this, the album was basically like a concept album about this teenager starting high school. And it was about like her feelings and her romantic life and the life of her friends. And I thought it was really charming and sweet, and really kind of reflected the wholesome, optimistic innocence of a, well, conventionally beautiful, economically privileged white girl. And I thought that that was, but that's okay because that's her point of view, and that's fine. And so, but but it really did feel like kind of watching like a cute show on the CW. And "You Belong with Me" is absolutely an anthem, and I adore that song. And that is my favorite song on the album. Not that there aren't great other good ones on it too. Again, 15 is a really good one. It has that wonderful line about Abigail giving everything she had to a boy who changed his mind, and then we both cried. It's beautiful. So, and again, it's still, early. She was 18 when she wrote it. So, there's, yeah, so it's still kind of just like, write what you know, and it would continue to be that way for a while. But I thought it was a vast step up from her debut, and I really enjoy it.
Well, may I say, hey, Sammy, I'm just teasing. I'm just teasing. I will do that.
You
Okay.
can call me Sammy. It's fine.
Yeah. No, I'm just doing the hey, Steven. Like, hey, Steven, I
Oh.
just need, yeah. I was trying to do that. Didn't work. Sorry. So I am a huge Fearless defender, because if you go out into the Swiftie universe, you'll find a lot of Swifties who rank this towards the bottom. Like, I've almost always seen it in like the ninth, 10th, 11th place. And like, for me, this is an album that has truly grown for me, because like, yes, all the songs that you guys mentioned, we have heard forever and ever and ever, over and over again for the past 20 years, right? But I still think it's underrated. It's underrated because there's almost like this country bias. I think a lot of people like Ashley kind of root for a debut more than they root for Fearless, even though Fearless won Album of the Year. Like, it's a weird thing. But I'm just here to say that I think Fearless has a great production. Like, the themes are so clear, in my opinion. Her ideas, like, when I think of Fearless, I think of boldness. I think of like optimism. I think of like youth, but in a smart way, And there are so many bops. Like, I just enjoy listening to Fearless. I listen to it like at least once a day, like a song every day. And it puts me in a good mood. So it's so fun. So I'm going with, for my favorite song, I know this is basic. You want to talk about basic white girl? That's me. I'm Fearless, White Horse, and Forever and Always. Okay, I'm gonna stop singing because no one wants to hear that shit. Ash.
Um, Again, I love Fearless. I mean, it's going to be redundant. I don't dislike any of her albums. Doing this is actually pretty hard for me. Like, and I don't mean like I'm struggling. I just mean like I find it difficult to rank them. Because I love them so much, and they all mean something different to me, because I'm pretty much the exact same age as Taylor Swift. So all of those little nuances and things that she's talking about, that a lot of women go through as they're growing up, no matter where you are in the world, there's so many things that you can relate to. And she's so honest. And I feel like that isn't something that you see in a lot of songwriting for a lot of people. And women tend to be criticized for being extremely honest and talking about their feelings in music for some reason. Because like, we're allowed to do it in every other thing, but if you talk about like your boyfriend, all of a sudden that's the only thing that you've ever talked about, even though all of the other bands in the world sing about love and romance are just the same. I love Fearless. I have a hard time picking a favorite song because I enjoy them like most of like there's nothing on here that I don't enjoy. But I would probably say Forever and Always, but the piano version is probably my favorite song. I also love the way I loved you. I think it's a really clever way of writing about something like that. And then one of the only songs that I ever skip when it comes to Taylor Swift is on this album. Not because it's bad, but because I find it too heartbreaking to listen to. And that is The Best Day, because it just makes me cry every time I listen to it. And I cried the first time I heard it, and I am now in my 30s, and I still cry when I hear that song. It's just so sweet, and if you know the relationship that she's singing about and how that relationship is still very powerful to this day, it's really cool. And also, side note, that's a song about her mom. Just so you guys know that her mom actually saved a bunch of people from drowning when she was young. Like her mom, when Taylor Swift was young, she saw people, something happened with somebody's boat or something, and she went and rescued a bunch of them on her like ski-doo thing. And sea-doo? Yeah, sea-doo. A ski-doo would be winter. On her sea-doo, and was like, Taylor, stay here. And was written about in the paper. So technically, Miss Andrea Swift was famous before Taylor.
That's an amazing story.
Yeah.
Mm.
Taylor's mom is so impressive in so many respects, and just like the love that Taylor has for her mother, and like every once in a while she'll drop a song about her, and it's just like it's so emotional. Like I told my mom, I was like, Mom, Taylor wrote this song about a time that Taylor's mom took her to the mall. And my mom's like, I took you guys to the mall all the time. What's the big deal? So it's just my mother's reaction every time I explain Swiftie lore. She's always like, Ryan, why does she have to make everything into a puzzle? I'm like, it is, or a riddle. That's what she says. Well, that's what she
Because
says.
it's fun.
Yeah, because it's fun. Exactly.
Well, that's really sweet. Ryan, go write a song about your mom so she'll feel more appreciated.
I'll make it a riddle for her. Yeah.
and make it a riddle. But that's an amazing story. And yeah, it is sweet how much she loves her mom. Yeah. Any final thoughts on Fearless?
Well, I would like to say though, we probably kind of iterated it, but I think this is her first album was big too. But this era, I kind of like discussing Taylor and Eras to understand the Eras tour and everything. But Fearless just really felt like a big iconic moment, like where the whole world started paying attention, and I just remember it lasting a long time. Where everybody had the album. It reminded me very much of, this was gonna date me, but of when the Millennial album came out for Backstreet Boys. It was just like the album of the moment. Like everybody had it, adult, child, everything.
Garrison, I'm sorry, I'm going to let you finish, but Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time.
Oh my God.
Oh, and she did have. I forget about that moment. I can't believe.
How could you forget about that moment? That moment, like, come on, Harrison, come on.
I know, but I feel like
We don't say his name.
No, we do not.
I also feel like a lot of people claim that moment made her famous, but I do forget about that moment because I just feel like the songs from the album were just so huge, and especially for country, because I know country's big now, but I think back then for it to cross over into the top 40, because I don't remember, not that many country artists like had huge top 40 hits. I could be misremembering that, but I just remember how huge that was. So that's all. I just wanted to give the era credit, because we're going to get into even bigger eras for her and bigger moments. But I feel like this one we don't remember it as huge as it actually was. Or I could be wrong.
I find it funny how you guys keep talking about country, because like to me this doesn't sound country at all. But like I grew up in like a place where like you ride mechanical bulls, and like I own cowboy boots, not just for like one fashion statement. Like I've had cowboy boots since I was young, and I live in I live in a place that is called Cowtown. Like, it's like we have one of the biggest rodeos and fairs in the entire world. So, like, to me, like, I understand, like, it is country, but like, this sounds like, what I hear, like, and what like I consider like to be like country music, like, this is like, you took a big pot of water and put a lot of pop music in it, and then just like 3 drops of country. But I forget that not everybody has that, like to me, it is like I realized that I was like, I mean, it is country music, but I always forget that it is, because like to me, it doesn't sound like, like intense, like honky tonk country music.
Like Johnny's daddy was taken.
Well, it's kind of like, it's like country light. It's country light.
But I mean, you're right though. Like it is country music, but I always just kind of like forget that's like how it started, because it just always felt very poppy to me. But it's just because like I grew up where you see real cowboys and fake cowboys, and you can tell them apart real easy.
That's really fun. That's hilarious.
I will say "You Belong
It's
to
really
Me"
funny.
is really not a country song if you listen to it. It's very pop of the
She's
time.
already starting to like take out the intense country.
It's "You
No.
Belong With Me," Garrison, not "To Me."
I know he keeps messing it up, but I don't want to
No.
correct him.
Oh.
I'm secretly not a Taylor fan.
Okay.
Such a faker.
Kind of like the Cowboys, we can tell who's the real ones and who's not. All right.
Exactly.
I have
True.
obscure facts. I'm
Exactly.
Law and Order. And
All right. All right. Album number 3, "Speak Now."
I'll start. Shocking. I love this album, guys. I remember listening to it, like just constantly on a road trip with one of my girlfriends, and we were with. I mean, there was boys in the car too, but they both had a crush on either one of us. So I think they just were fine listening to whatever we wanted to. Didn't work out for them, but we listened to this song or listened to this album all the time. I have so many good memories about this album. I find it so fun. I think it's really beautiful. It is a huge fan favorite. Swifties love "Speak Now." And she's got a song like for fans on this album of like really like speaking to us and talking to the fans, and like "Live Long" is such like a beautiful song, and I was lucky enough to see it live.
Long
Long
live.
live. Oh my god, I said "Live Long."
I
As soon as I said it, it came out of
I'm
my
a-
mouth, and I had to do it for me. I was just like,
I'm officially the best Swiftie on this group right now. I've won.
I'm drinking out of a Taylor Swift glass right now.
Well, I have the Torture Poets Department holding my candy right now, so
Okay, well, I have
bring
a
it.
vigilante shit ring and a Tortured Poets Department ring and a Reputation necklace,
Oh, I need popcorn for this.
and I have Taylor Swift sweatpants on.
Okay, enough. Okay, you
And
won.
I also
We back
went
it.
to 2 different
Live long.
to see her.
Garrison, aren't you so glad that you don't care?
I've seen Taylor twice in concert. Like I got to see, and then I have her albums on vinyl.
Me too. Oh my god. Okay.
Sorry, "Long Live." It's such a beautiful song dedicated to fans. But my favorite song on this album is "Sparks Fly."
Aw.
Lovely.
Can I go next? Because this is a Swiftie album. Like this is something for the fans. Like Ashley said, like I think you can tell a lot about a Taylor fan based on what they think of "Speak Now," because it's that album she keeps kind of hidden in a way, even though she wrote it entirely herself. So, I mean, this is a very like writerly album. Like this is a song for that showcases her talents as a writer. And it's touched me in a very big way recently, like because like in my opinion the central theme of the album is like coming into your own for better and worse, coming into your own voice, coming into adulthood, and like being afraid to grow up in a way, and like that has kind of I don't know why it's hit me all of a sudden as I'm about to turn 30, but I get this. I get what she's saying. Like, you know, to listen to "Speak Now" in order, in chronological order, it's just kind of it's very empowering, but also kind of crippling in a way. So Ashley said "Long Live." It's one of my top 10 favorite songs. I love "Long Live." But also recently I have really been into "Last Kiss," and I don't know why. It's a song that I didn't like before, but like post March, it's a song that like I listen to and think about all the time. So, I mean, I genuinely think that "Speak Now" has no skips. It's a great album, and I can't believe she wrote all the songs, all 20 plus songs by herself. So, huge "Speak Now" fan. It's a song for writers, in my opinion.
Okay, awesome. Garrison, you want to go now, or should I?
I can bear it. This is where I guess I'm a fake fan. Like I was very absent during this era. I don't have any memories of this era. Like for me, I remember her performance on a award show where she was on a train. Like she was in a loose fitting dress. She had a banjo and she was saying "Mean." That's the only thing I really remember. I had just became a nurse during this era, so I don't know if I was just really busy. But I do. "Back to December" is my favorite song on this album. I really enjoy that song. Every time it comes on, it makes me long for something that I don't know what I'm longing for. I
Taylor
enjoy
Lautner.
"Mean." Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, is this the era that she was in Valentine's Day? Because I absolutely love Taylor Swift
Nope.
and Valentine's Day.
Previous
Um,
one.
I think that she. Oh, it was the previous one. Okay. I Sorry. I like Taylor as an actress, so I think she's great on screen. But this era, I hate to say, I was very absent in. I don't have any of that memories from it. I do like the singles. I don't think it's a bad album. I don't return to this album. I've listened to the whole thing. I listened to it when she re-released it to Taylor's version, and I just didn't take much from it. So I guess I'm not a church swiftie.
Go back and listen to it sometime. Seriously, like when you're least expecting it, it will creep up on you because it used to be ranked low for me, and now like post March, it's just like, oh, I get it. You know.
I think she sounds great on this album. I will say she sounds great on all of them, but you can just tell this is a maturity album. I do agree with you on that. Like you can that she really was into this album, and I could tell that her voice is developing.
But you gotta listen to the OG version of Last Kiss because it's iconic, and she's got a little voice quiver, so you can tell she's like maybe about to start crying when she's singing it or something. And it's when the new version came out, I was like, obviously
Why aren't you
there's
crying,
a voice
bitch?
quiver, but I was just like, I want the voice quiver.
Like, I'm over it. I'm just thinking this.
Well, and like just for perspective's sake, then I'll let Sam go. I promise this is his show, and I'm just taking it over. Last Kiss is kind of like a warm up, in my opinion, to All Too Well. It's over 6 minutes. It's a very very long song, and it's somewhat thematically similar to All Too Well, but different. And like that's all I'll say. So everybody, go listen to Last Kiss and give it a second chance.
Okay. So as far as my take on Speak Now is that I feel like it's just like for her, it does seem to be like a gentle, like natural evolution from where Fearless like left off. It's still okay. So it's like it's her growing as a writer and finding her voice. I do think the album is longer than it needs to be, and I do think a lot of the songs are longer than they need to be, especially for material as like basic as this is. But there isn't like a single song on it that isn't like a wonder of construction. So it's really just very like it's like all the songs are it's very simple. But and again, the songs wander on longer than they need to. But that doesn't necessarily mean that there's anything unpleasant about that. It's like something you can like meander around and get lost in. And again, similar thematically, but still but also still frequently lovely. So just fine. I do think Back to December is lovely. So I want to thank Garrison for pointing that out because I do think it's a very again, like he said, like it makes you long for something. I do think I do think it's genuinely lovely to listen to. However, my pick for the song of the album would have to be "The Story of Us" because it's so rare for her to hear her rock out so hard, but in a way that's also very specifically feminine. And I think that's you don't really hear that a lot, and especially from someone her age at the time, and just like really in like mainstream music in general, you do. But like, there's something about her, like it's close. It's not hard rock, but it's rock. It's like feminine. It's like feminine rock, and it's a really really great. Very like a really nice tonal balance, like of just like the feminine and the masculine, like really going at you hardcore in in that way, and I think I really like it. I probably like overstated it, but yeah, I think I think it's really good. I thank you, Ash. I love you. So yeah, that's my pick for that song. And final thoughts on Speak Now.
I'm good.
I think that she is so talented in the way that she was able to capture feelings with lyrics, but also the production value of this album. And to be as young as she was to write this on guitar or piano, and then to help produce the album. And obviously I believe that she really cares about this type of stuff. And so she has learned so much from this. And I feel like Speak Now is an album where you can see pieces of where she's going to go in her future just starting to shine. And I think I'm just glad that this album came out and that she's still making music.
I mean, she's pretty much like conquered the music world at this point. So with like with the latest twist of her like now owning everything that she's ever made, please name me somebody else who's done that.
Yeah.
Even
No
if
one.
it's happened, yeah.
It's
Even
the
if
most
I have to love it.
a lot of like really veteran amazing singer songwriters or like members of like really badass bands like different rock bands and stuff have asked like who's like the most punk rock person you've ever met, and some of them have said Taylor Swift. They're like, that girl can play any instrument you give her, she'll know every single song, she like could go on stage and play with so many people, but also she knows this industry so well to the point where now there's Taylor Swift clauses in contracts saying that you can't do what she just did, but artists are refusing to sign them because they're so inspired by her. She also refused to be on different streaming services back in the day because she was like, people aren't getting paid properly. And she was like, listen, I know I don't need to be getting paid more than what I am. But she was like, you have to remember that people play piano on this song. People do all these different things. And if they're not getting paid properly, or some band, she used the Plain White Tees, that song, Hey There, Delilah. That band almost made nothing off of that song because of streaming. I believe that was the band it was. Hardly made any money off of that because streaming and illegal downloads were so popular that she refused to be on different streaming platforms until it was fair for everyone, not just her, but it was fair across the board that people were getting paid properly for having, if you have 1 billion streams, there is revenue being put in your pocket. And I just admire that at a young age, she saw that she was worth more, like she had a value, and that she was worthy of, honestly, the money that she deserved and other people that work in the music industry deserve too.
Good for her. No, that's amazing. I didn't even know that. So, all right. Album number 4, Red.
I'll go
And
first.
you'll go first?
Yeah, if it's okay. Red is probably when I became like a super Taylor fan. Like I'm gonna probably like make people mad with this part. I was a big Avril Lavigne fan, and when We Are Never Getting Back Together came out, I was like, oh, we're going the Avril Lavigne route, which I was completely fine with. But it was just fun. I thought the video was fun. It was very 2012 at the time, like the very like I don't want to know like what am I trying to say? Like the look of it, I guess. I just enjoyed all of it so much. Like the cover art, the music videos, the singer songwriter. Like she worked with some of my favorite people. Like at this point in my life, like I was very into like Snow Patrol and those very emotional songs. Like I listened to all that kind of stuff growing up. And the fact that she worked with the guy from Snow Patrol on this album, I think it's called The Last Time.
Yeah.
I was so excited about it, and I thought We Were Never Getting Back Together was so fun. And then the album came out, and there's just so many like heartbreaking songs on this album. Um, like I know people really love All Too Well. I love All Too Well. I love the new version from the re. But I Almost Do. Like I Almost Do will literally make me cry every time I listen to it because I don't know if I just relate to it more because it's like you want the self respect or you don't want to give in to hear that person again. But I just relate so much to I Almost Do, and I think I don't think it gets enough credit, or in my opinion, enough credit because I know I'm really happy that All Too Well gets a lot of credit, and I really love the new version on Taylor's version, the 10-minute version. It's so good. Um, but I think I Almost Do is just such a great song. And also my favorite song from the album, my absolute favorite song that I will cry every time I listen to it. And it's funny because it's almost my birthday, and I know the song is "The Moment I Knew." It's my favorite song from the album. I I was how old was I? I don't remember how old was I in 2012, but I went on a date and I liked this guy and we had dated for a few dates and then he just totally like ghosted me. I was older, so I had never really dated before, so I didn't understand what was going on because I didn't date in high school, I didn't date in college, and I just listened to this song to get over it, and it made me sadder, but it just seemed like so appropriate. But it's such a great song, and the way the song swells, the emotion, and when she says you should have been there, because she just had this party and she was surrounded by friends, and I feel like that does describe life. You can be surrounded by all these people and you're not alone, but then the one person you wanted there, and it doesn't even have to be a relationship, um, doesn't come, then it just kind of ruins your moment, which seems kind of immature to say out loud, but we do that as people. Like, you everything's perfect but that one thing, and we'll focus on that one thing, and we really can like hurt people by behaving that way. So you said something, Ashley, like that we are the same age as Taylor Swift. We're a year older, but I feel like at this point when this album came out, we were all young adults and we were going through some things. And every time she released an album, it was like the perfect timing for me because this album is a really special album for my young adulthood. Like I loved Red. I pictured just like riding in a car and like having a good time listening to Red, and Begin Again is just like a peaceful song to me that you can listen to and just kind of zone out, and it is emotional. 22 is fun. Like we used, like I don't know about you, I would sing it for every birthday. Like I don't know about you, I'm feeling 25, even though it didn't rhyme. And then I really went around with it when I turned 32. And I knew You Were Trouble was a big deal, but it wasn't my favorite. But it is fun. I thought it was very experimental for her, especially to lean that far into pop. Um, and then I don't know what to say. Like The Moment I Knew was just my favorite. It breaks my heart every time I listen to it. I love thinking about. I don't know. I was 25-year-old Garrison listening to that song, and I love how far I've grown, but I love how that song can still like pull at my like this whole album pulls at my heartstrings because I just feel like a full. It reminds me of being a full realized person. Like I felt like I was an adult. I felt like I had my stuff together, but I also felt like, oh, someone who's like has the same emotions I do and feels about life like I do. So it's a special album for me, and it's really where I became, a super fan of Taylor Swift.
All right. Who wants to go next?
Well, I'll go next because just because mine kind of links in with Garrison's a lot. So I am like Mr. Red. Red is like my favorite album. I'm just going to spoil my part of my ranking. It's my goat, sorry, Sam. It's it's such an incredible album. I love every single song. It's worthy. It's easy to listen to. But, the theme I see behind Red is about like experiencing like real devastating heartbreak at this young age. Like it's like your first devastating heartbreak, and every single song relates back to that in some way, and it's so powerful. And it's about the lessons you learn from that, I think, too. It's about those emotions and the lessons you learn from it. And Garrison alluded to the fact that like the genre bending aspect of Red, it's fun because it is experimental, but it's still very mainstream. It's kind of the best of both worlds. It's almost like I feel like if Wes Craven were making a Taylor Swift album, he would make Red. I don't know. Right? I mean, because like the name, right? Because of blood, but like also, mixing like the different genres. Like it kind of reminds me of Scream. There's rock, there's pop, there's country. It's a really fun album for so many reasons. And my favorite song of all time is All Too Well, of course. I mean, 10-minute version. That is the song where I became like, dedicated to her. But my second favorite song, and I can't believe Garrison said it because it's literally this is my story. Garrison stole it from me. Is The Moment I Knew. So I'm happy to be a Moment I Knew brother with Garrison. But that is like there are so many times in my life where The Moment I Knew has applied to me, and it's just like that is the magic of Taylor Swift, is the fact that like she puts out these songs and we all can see ourselves so deeply and so specifically. I don't know how she does it. I don't know what her magic sauce is, but it's something that is very unique to her. So Red is my everything. Right there you go. See, there you go. All right.
Also, what's that song? I hate. It's on the red though that she did. That what is that song about the people cheating? And she's in the music video of the song, but her version of it is on Taylor's version. It's so good. Why am I blanking?
What?
Ash.
I don't.
I'll find it. Sorry, I just before I Oh, and Ronan is on this one. That's a great one too. Sorry. Babe. Her version of Babe is so good.
Oh yeah. Um, I love this album. I've said that for the beginning of every single thing. Um, I don't even know how to articulate how much I love Red. Um, it's weird because I don't have any specific memories with it except for how much I loved it. And I listened to this album a lot by myself. It wasn't an album that I listened to people with as much. All Too Well, 10-minute version is my favorite song of all time, any artist, any place, whatever. Um, I don't think anybody has been able to describe a breakup um, so perfectly. Um, my Fuck the Patriarchy keychain. Um, I just love this album, and I think it was one of the first times that we really saw the beautiful generosity of Taylor with the song Ronin. If you're listening to this and you don't know what that song's about, I highly recommend you just like do a quick Google search. But pretty much, Taylor came across a story of a young boy with cancer and talked to his mom. And after he passed away, she ended up writing this song. And the actual like the some of the proceeds of this song are like for him or go to the mom. And she's got a foundation, and she hardly ever plays Ronan live except for if Ronan's family is there. And I just like people always say like, oh, what does Taylor Swift sing about? She just sings about like boyfriends, which I find stupid. But I'm just like, no, she literally has a song about childhood cancer. Like I'm like, I don't think you understand. Like she writes about so many different things, and I think something that is so perfect about her songwriting is that Sam and not Sam, sorry, Ryan and Garrison both had this huge connection with the moment I knew, and so do I. Like it's one of those songs that I always loved, but I ended up relating to it like a lot later in life. Like I remember sitting on the train home and just like crying, looking out the window because this song came on, and I was like, oh my God, this is exactly what it was. And I just feel like if you can relate to a song like so many years later and still understand what she's talking about, I just think it's beautifully done. And I think you can like people have said, it's not just about a romantic relationship necessarily. You can really take that and connect it to maybe a parent who's absent or a friend, or I've even heard people reference it to grief. And I just think it's such a beautiful, this album is just so beautiful, and it just feels like you're walking through a breakup with somebody.
Yeah. All right. So full disclosure, actually, since you mentioned that story, I actually had a former coworker who's one of her children, her twins actually did pass away from childhood cancer many years ago. I think like around like 13 or 14, like 13 years ago ish. But actually she was very active on social media about, it was a very rare form of leukemia, and she was actually very active on social media about about all the tests and everything that was going on and all the journey in the hospital and everything. And word got around or something like that, because one day Taylor Swift actually did walk into their hospital room and played with their baby and actually wrote them a check covering like all their medical expenses to date. So I don't know if this is that child. It could have, I mean, it could have been somebody else too. Like for all I know, like it could have been, this could have happened more than once. People in that position, with that kind of wealth and fame, I feel like are doing the right thing if word gets back to them about this. But so I just would like to point that out, that I'm actually really glad you brought that story up, because I used to work with somebody that this happened to, when she actually, did show up for that. So that being said, so that aside, Red is just a really strong album. Like, it's just a really strong album. I mean, even if you're not a Swiftie, it's really hard to argue with the technical merits of it. This is really the album where she kind of progressed past the, like, teenage version of love into like a much more like adult universal sense of it. And Swift, and she's transitioning out of country into more pop, even though like, for instance, the title track has, definitely like a country popish melody to it. Probably may arguably be the only song on the album where the lyrics aren't that great, because the metaphors are like mangled as F. But that notwithstanding, it's also the album where she transitioned from, the young ingenue into the, pop monster that she is today. But she hadn't fully become like that robotic, all devouring, all consuming, like, space hog who took up all the space in the pop culture world. But this album is just phenomenal. It's so good. Like, every track on it is a banger. It's really strong, and it feels really human and messy and really relatable. And it's just such a joy. It really is, like, from start to finish. And there is a lot, and it's funny, there is a lot of heartbreak in it. We are never ever getting back together may be just one of her quintessential singles for the way it encapsulates both her incredible likability and her unapologetic pettiness too, which is because that's also part of being human. It's, but our common humanity isn't always just like empathy and niceness. Sometimes it's just being like, I hate you and go fuck off. So it encapsulates all of that, and it's really, really fun. That being said, after all of the emotional highs and lows the album takes you through, like, State of Grace and All Too Well, not the 10-minute version, though. I don't have the patience for that. The fact that I know I'm canceled. It's fine.
Yeah, the dirty looks here from Ashley and me.
I know, it's fine. The fact that the album ends on such a beautiful grace note of Begin Again is just, like, sends me out on a high. So I'm taking that as my song for that album, which is, it's almost like the anti-song of the album in a way, because so much of the album is about heartbreak. But yeah, that's what I'm doing that. So,
But isn't that so important to heartbreak, is to turn that page and to start over and to start after you've experienced it all? It's like
true.
that's so important. So I'm really glad that you picked Beginning Again. I love it.
Thank you, because honestly, because it's like the whole point, you can't really have your heart broken if your heart is frozen. So you have to have your heart being open and vulnerable, and part of that is the idea of just allowing yourself to feel those things. So you can't have your heart broken if there's no hope in it. So I guess that's just kind of like the tragedy of human existence, is knowing that if you believe in a better world and in a better life for yourself and for the world around you, and if you believe in the possibility of finding love, and you also it's that openness that's also going to lead to heartbreak. So it's a balance. You can't have one without the other. So yes, I would go with. So yes, thank you. I'm glad you guys all love Begin Again too.
Oh, Begin
All right.
Again is so good, and I love that song. And one thing that I've heard a lot of people bring up with Taylor Swift, particularly in this album and in Speak Now, is that they think it's immature of her to sing so directly about what she experienced when those relationships were public. And one of the people who was a public figure who she dated publicly talked about that. And I would just like to say, if you don't want a young woman to write about you, maybe don't date someone 10 years younger than you or more.
Like it. Agreed.
So, like,
Yeah.
Like I'm just
Well-
like if you don't want something that's childish and if the words were used were childish, then maybe don't date a child.
Bird.
Burn. And at honest, yes, 100%. 100%. Yeah, that was a gross, gross thing. Number one. And number two, at that point, everybody is like, her brand was already well known. So, proceed at your own risk, honestly. So if you don't like, if you don't want to, if you don't want people to write about how poorly you treated somebody, just don't date that person. Yeah. And don't explain. Yeah, and especially with that. Yeah.
Yeah, and like
So-
there's other people who she's dated where it just like didn't work out, and there might be songs about that, but they're not like scathing.
Right.
Yeah.
Not like, they're just like, oh, we broke up and I was really sad, or I mean, in a better way than that.
Didn't
But,
work out.
um,
Yeah.
It's
Exactly.
not. It's more about like the pain of the breakup itself versus like the manipulation and in some ways abusive tendencies of grown men to lurk on young women.
Mhm. Yep.
Thank
Yep.
you. Thank
And
you.
America, yeah, and don't cross America's sweetheart because there's a double-edged sword, and she'll, the pen is mightier than the sword, right? So she'll get you back.
Yeah.
All right, 1989.
All right. Can I just start out that because like I'm probably gonna speak the least here, so I'll just say this album is an objective masterpiece. This is the reason I think she is the biggest star in the world is because of this album and the songs here. And this there are like 8 songs that probably 80% of America probably knows by heart just because they're so prominent in the pop culture. It's a true masterpiece. It's inarguably a masterpiece. It's like Scream 1. It's unavoidable. And for me, like, the thing is about me in 1989 is like I don't connect to the songs as deeply as I do other songs other albums that are really really emotional in like a heartbreaking way. But I still respect this album and I enjoy listening to it. It's the album I listen to a lot with like my family and friends. But it's not it's just not like one of those that I'm so connected to like in a spiritual way like I am Red, if that makes sense. So and my favorite is Blank Space, of course. I mean that the writing there is very spectacular. I'm sorry, like it's a basic answer, but it is. So
You don't need to apologize for others' greatness.
Yeah, I was gonna. Is there okay? Just out of curiosity, is there anyone in here who is not picking "Blank Space" as their song of this album?
see, I knew that they wouldn't. So yeah.
Oh, okay.
Actually,
Garrison.
you think I'm going to pick a single on any one of these albums?
ISIS. All right, fine.
I like Say Don't Go too. That's my second favorite. I love Say Don't Go. So okay, done.
That's a lie. I'm actually going to pick a single for this album. Garrison, you go.
Okay. So,
I don't know why I'm directing. I'm so sorry. I just was like, I want to hear what you guys have to say before I talk.
I love being directed. So I'm really gonna have a hard time ranking albums because I love doing this with y'all. I want to say thank y'all for doing this, and Sam, thank you for this because I'm getting so excited to getting relive these eras because my favorite time in life was like the Red era coming out, and then 1989 represents freedom to me for some reason. I moved out on my own very late because I worked night shift a lot. I don't have to explain all that, and I felt like I lived on my own, but I lived with my parents, and then I moved out on my own, and I had just moved into my first apartment. I hadn't been there very long, and this album came out. And I was still working night shift, so it was the middle of the night when it dropped, and I just remember listening to it, and I remember hearing "Welcome to New York," and it just described moving out on your own. Like I just felt so empowered, and then I kept listening, and I thought "Blank Space" was the best pop song ever released. And then I just loved everything. Like I loved everything. I watched her performance of "Welcome to New York" on. Forgot his name. I sent it in the group thing where she wears the green jumpsuit that
David
Sam
Letterman.
And I just was, I loved the new haircut. I liked the confidence. I loved the sound. But "Welcome to New York," literally every time I listened to it, I was like, that is the sound of freedom. Like I feel so independent. I feel like I'm becoming an adult and a person. Blank Space is so much fun. He tapped into one of the best music video directors that really made iconic Britney Spears music videos, and she used him for the entire album. I think after Shake It Off. The Shake It Off. I don't really like Shake It Off. I thought it was so much fun. The video, I thought she was having fun. Um, I know I'm jumping around, but everything about this rollout of this era and album, I think, is just pure perfection. Not just the album is a masterpiece to me. I think the rollout was a masterpiece. I thought it was all cinematic, like Wildest Dreams is so cinematic. I think it's one of her best songs. I out of the Woods is a fantastic song. It sounds very epic, like a movie. I'm trying to just catch it all in there for a few minutes. My favorite song from the album, I have two that are tied that are my favorite songs. They're not even technically on the album, but
I feel lied to, but go on.
You Are in Love is one of my favorite Taylor Swift songs in the world because I feel like it sounds like what it sounds like to be in the kind of love that people want to be in. The way she describes it, the way it feels, the way I even like suggested my friend put it in her wedding, and she did. There was just so much fun. The era was just so much fun. And Wonderland feels like it could be. I know I may be wrong here. In like a musical, like I feel like the song Wonderland. I just think it. I could just see people performing it on a stage in a musical, and I listen to them. They immediately make me happy, make me enjoy that feeling of being in love with somebody, even friendship love. Like I don't, it's just those two are and I know they're not even singles. I know they're not even part of the actual album, but they're on the deluxe album. But they're my favorites. I know people like Clean. It's okay. I love the Bad Blood music video. I love the Bad Blood remix so much. I listen to it when I'm pissed off. I think it's a nice precursor to Reputation. Um, yeah, that's and I think everything about I think every music video is epic. I think everything about this album is just perfection. Like I,
All right, I'm gonna go next because I think I could keep this quick too. Yeah, like as Ryan said earlier, there's really this album is the reason that Taylor Swift became the juggernaut that she did, and it's slightly less human than Red. It's much more engineered, is how I would put it, but it is so expertly engineered and so exquisitely constructed. It's just really a pop masterpiece of an album, and even the songs. Well, the only song I flat out on it that I don't like is Bad Blood. Everything else on the album is I don't care. I don't care. The melody should have been better. I'm sorry, and so should her singing. But yeah, but the rest of it, even the songs that are not even that human and just like created all like on the pop assembly line like style, they're just so good. So there's just so much to admire as a collaborative effort that was put into this. And yes, because I am basic, Blank Space is absolutely my song of this album because Darling, I'm a Nightmare Dressed Like a Daydream. So, all right, Ash.
I love this album. 1989 made me become like I felt kind of like I was being stabbed when Sam was saying that it's not human, because I think it's probably the one that I relate to the most, and I think it took me from being a shell of a girl who went through trauma and became herself again. I couldn't listen to music for a long time because it made me too emotional. I would just like sit in silence because I was just so sad and messed up. And this album made me feel myself again and made me feel happy and excited to experience life as a young adult, and to not be afraid of things that you might sometimes, I mean, you should be afraid of it to an extent, but just to allow the fear to like not keep you isolated, and to not this album made me want to experience happiness again, and so that's why I'm so incredibly attached to this album. I love so many songs. Clean is probably one that
Yes.
helped me a lot. Imogen Heap and her, I think, need to collab more because I love that song so much. Um, and I would say, but my personal favorite song on this album is Out of the Woods. I think so. I did pick a single. I lied. But I love this song so much. I think maybe I just realized like maybe I kind of felt like I was out of the darkness and like coming into the light. So maybe like that really made me feel better. And I just love how there's like a lot of like talk about like building friendships and like your new life and um coming into something new and young adulthood. And I love how some of the songs like aren't written about her love life. They're written about some of her friends' love lives. And I also love Clean because like I said, Clean because that's such like a beautiful song. And she always says that like having friends that had struggled with addiction, she would hear them talk about it and be like, they're the way that I feel after a breakup is how these people are talking. And like she's like, I can't relate to their struggle at all, but like maybe I can have empathy in the way that you have to move on from things in the same way. Like no matter what your struggle is, like there's a way that you can move on. And once you do, you feel like you just like you're reborn, or you know you've just taken a huge dip in the water. But I love 1989. I remember how much hate she got for changing genres, which is so stupid because if she didn't, she'd get hate. But if she does, she gets hate. Like, it's just one of those things where I think like anybody in the public eye goes through it. But um, I've never, there's only, like I always say, there's only two things that people have publicly said to my face. When I said I like something, they have just flat out told me I hate that. And those two things are cats. And the other one is Taylor Swift. The amount of people when I say like, oh, what are you listening to? Oh, I'm listening to Taylor Swift. I hate her. And I'm like, I think it's weird that you hate a person you've never met and like you're putting energy into that. But also like, I get, like, I was like, you don't have to like her. But I was like if you told me you were listening to, I don't know, Bon Jovi, I'm not going to be like, eat a dick, John. Like, I'm just going to be like, okay, cool. Side note,
Yeah.
I've seen Bon
Yeah.
Jovi like 5 times, so that is not a diss to Bon Jovi. It's a really fun show if you ever get the chance to go. But yeah, I love 1989, and I'll wrap it up because I could talk for a long time about every single one of these.
I did not mean to hurt your feelings. It was not my
Oh,
intention.
you didn't actually hurt my feelings. I was just joking. I was just like, oh,
Good.
but like in like a funny way.
Good.
So hateful thing.
Good. I know. So I could elaborate that on later, but I want to respect everyone's time. So, all right, number 6, Reputation.
My reputation's never been worse, so you must like me for me.
All right, Ryan is looking like he's chomping at the bit. So go on.
Well,
You start-
I will.
start us off.
I'll kick us off here. So, it is pretty. It's stunning work that she does here in Reputation, and it's a fan favorite. It's like this. It's the one that like the locals I think really are drawn to. It does fill me up with a lot of badass energy. Like it's the album you put on when you feel aggrieved or you feel like you need to get your power back or like you're angry about something. Yet it softens me up with the genuine expressions of like vulnerable love. At the same time, it's a weird balance, the tightrope that she walks with both of them. But her musings about the pain she's experiencing based on how everyone is treating her, meaning society, culture at that time, is something that is very cathartic and relatable to me. And I love this album. To use Ashley's quotes, I will say that the Rep TV stuff did exhaust me from it a bit, and there are individual songs that I don't love as standalone songs as much as other albums. But I do love. I especially love all the songs that are about her reacting to the culture, reacting to her reputation, if that makes sense, and her cancellation. So I'm obviously a Look What You Made Me Do, I Did Something Bad, Call It What You Want, kind of a girl here. So
Thank you, Ryan. All right, so I'm going to go next. So I find it very interesting that the first single off this album is the Abusers anthem, Look What You Made Me Do. And I find it very interesting that the video for it um, opens in the same way that Buffy season 6 opens, which is the heroine rising out of the grave,
Hmm.
uh, a changed person. And I think the album is obviously it's a very defensive album because since I generally speaking am not so much invested in these people's personal lives because they're their personal lives. It's none of my business. So I'm not here to judge. And obviously at this point, this is like the I'm going to get revenge album. Like or I'm gonna like get like, just talk about how pissed off I am and how everyone's treating me and why everyone is being mean to me and all these things. And that's all, again, that's all part of being human. It's very real. The problem is for me, it's just something that not I cannot relate to it because to me it feels very much like she wants to have her cake and eat it too, especially in songs like Delicate. And so I feel like it's very much like her I'm a pop star and you're not album. So while I understand that it's a transition and it's one that's necessary, I think it was necessary for her to go through. It's not really one that I look back on very with a lot of fondness because I feel like it's kind of her just like telling the whole world off, and that's fine. And of course, that's fine. But most people, I guess, she should be. It's good for her that she had the platform to do that. But as somebody who was drawn to her originally for her ability to draw a kinship between her feelings and the feelings of her fans and the feelings of her observations about life and how they seem so specific but also universal. I feel really really this one leaves me cold. So
Which is fair. Which is fair.
I
Oh
have no
no.
words.
yeah, I know Garrison and Ashley are about to
Uh,
anyway.
my opinion about like this is like the steamrolling. I don't know. Like I think Red, 1989, and Reputation are just a perfect time for our pop culture. I guess I don't know. Like I just loved. Like I felt like I was in the same moment. So I had just came off my first big breakup, like my first real relationship when this album dropped. I thought I was in love. Like I felt very wronged. I found out a lot of things about the relationship afterwards that made me feel very upset. And of course, here comes Taylor. She's like, "I have an album for you, Garrison. It's just for you." But when Look What You Made Me Do came out, again, yes, I got a very like for my generation kind of like music video. I love when music videos are like that. Like I feel like her music videos from 1989 and Reputation are very much from the heyday of when I was a very young child watching Britney Spears and all of them, like these big, huge videos. And I felt like Look What You Made Me Do had a lot of like she's like I'm going to be a pop star and I'm going to be in the best pop star, and I kind of losing my point that I had a point in the music video, but I just thought it was fun. I thought that she said, I don't know if I would categorize it as like a FU album totally, or as if just like, can I have fun with this album? I just made like an iconic album. I just want to do this. I'm gonna make it sound like the Mean Girls song because she's playing into it's her favorite. Like it sounds like the song "Operate" by Peaches, which is on Mean Girls. Like it sounds like it. So she's like, I'm a mean girl. Okay, I'm gonna reference this movie with the sound of the song, and I'm going to just have so much fun with my fans about all these where the Easter eggs even like went extreme. I found like in all the stuff that she was doing, and I like how dark. Like I feel like this is the darkest Taylor's experimented with some things. Like I did something bad. It just has a great and interesting and um I think sorry. I think So It Goes is in my pick for my favorite song from the album is So It Goes. I think it's a very dark and like almost sexual song that you don't get that much from Taylor Swift. You don't get sexy from Taylor. Like she doesn't really sing about that kind of stuff. But there's just something so sensual about So It Goes, and it's so nice to hear that version of Taylor. And I think Dress is kind of sensual, and it feels like just how it feels to feel pretty when you get ready to go out and just in your favorite outfit. And Call It What You Want is so sweet, and it takes a direction that I didn't think that when you listen to the beginning of the album that it's going to go there. And Ready for It, I just feel like it's such an like a it is probably slightly generic, but I like that feel on Taylor that I'm confident. I don't give a shit, and I'm going to have fun on the album and be angry on the album as well. I think Don't Blame Me is a very interesting route to go as well for her. And the only song that I don't love from the album, honestly, is Gorgeous, because I think it's just kind of, it doesn't fit. It just feels kind of like, I don't know, like Kitty, but I know people love it. But I just think it's such a great album, and I can't wait for her to um, well, give us the unreleased one, because isn't this the only album we don't have any bonus tracks, and the bonus tracks are the best things from Taylor Swift? Like, I mean, I think I've picked bonus tracks for my favorite songs from everything. But I just think the era is great. I think the music video for Ready for It and Endgame is fine, but I think the video is fun, and I don't know. And Delicate, Delicate was like the biggest. It's not the highest charting, but it's like the longest charting song from this album. So I think it's just a very special album and a very important album in the Taylor legacy. That's all.
Okay.
Well, um, hmm.
Ashley loves this album. Tell us why, Ashley.
I don't think of this as a fuck you album in any way whatsoever. I think it's a girl expressing her feelings. I think if any man released this exact same album, no one would call it a fuck you album. They'd call it, oh, this guy had a feeling. Great. I think this is probably the most romantic, loving album that she's ever put out. It's the one that is encapsulating like a real love that's going to last a long time. Her falling in love in the midst of honestly what would have been hard for most people to deal with, like dealing with SA and dealing with an eating disorder, public scrutiny, having fake porn made about you, and like people who humiliated you, like doing it. I just feel like it's like a song, like, obviously there's like songs that are angsty, but I just feel like it's like somebody just like standing up to like who they feel their bully is. Like, I don't feel like it's, I feel like when I'm around women listening to this album, like listening to like these songs in particular, it's like a force field. Like they scream them at the top of their lungs, because I think so many of us have had somebody say to us like, look what you made me do, or just these feelings that we feel like we're supposed to repress and not like we're not supposed to be angry. Like calm down is like probably like one of the number one things like most women hate being told, because we're told it a lot, and usually we're being actually extremely calm when we're saying it. We're just pointing out that something isn't fair or justified in our opinion. Or we're happy about something. Like you could be mad, happy, sad, glad, buying a donut, and somebody will be like, ma'am, calm down. And you're like, I'm standing here doing nothing. I don't like, what did I do? They're like, well, you look a little perturbed, miss. And I'm just like, eat my dick, dude. Like,
Yeah.
But I think of this album as like the most like loved love story album. Like I don't think of it as like, I think she's angry, but I think she's finding love in the midst of being hated, and like really hated. Like they said that the Reputation tour would be one of the biggest flop tours of all time. Like it was like reported in like tons of magazines. Like everybody was like, this album is gonna flop, her tour is gonna flop, no one cares about her anymore. Which like everybody has their own opinion. Like everybody can write what they want to write, but that opinion was coming from one man's misogynistic point of view, and it wasn't coming from anything like based in truth. It was just coming from another famous person's opinion, in my opinion, anyways. And I just think this album, like when you hear like the boom, 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 and like you're at one of the shows, like, I want to flash my tits. I am so pumped. I am just like, let me run through the room naked. I would just, and also, I just want to say, everybody who's saying you want Reputation Taylor's version, this is Reputation's Taylor's version. The only reason we needed the other versions were because she didn't own them anymore. She owns this. She doesn't want, like, she doesn't need to tweak it, make it better. Yes, we want the vault tracks, but this is Reputation's Taylor's version. Sorry, I'm passionate.
I love every minute of it. You go, Ashley.
So did I.
That
quite
was my
frankly.
Reputation album.
So did I. Quite frankly.
I want to say this though. Taylor Swift's Reputation for
Did I just say
Another
flash
Man.
my tits?
Do
You
it.
did.
Which
Yeah,
one
we'll blur
was
it
the
out. Go ahead.
I would say the 2 Taylor Swift tours I saw were some of the best nights of my life. But Reputation was so impressive because the whole stage was just screens, and it went like from 1 story to 2 story, and it just did it so flawlessly. And there was a huge snake. Like it was just so much fun. It was like I think Reputation was one of her most fun albums. I think to me because it's just. I don't know. It's one of probably the ones I lived with the longest besides 1989. I'm probably very basic because I like that pop, and I just think she does pop star very well. And um,
I think that's one. But I think that for me, I think part of the issue that I have with the album is that there are a lot of female artists who have made a lot of like "fuck you" albums, which I think are really awesome and passionate. And I think it's total, and they're totally warranted because women have like more. I mean, women of course have the right to tell their abusers off and tell off people when they're being mistreated. I think part of the reason that I still have the problem with this album is that I listening to it, I listened to it and got the feeling that she still wanted to be on top of the world and still be everyone thinks she still wanted to be loved for it too. And listen, as you should as a human being, you should still be allowed. Oh my God. Okay, Ashley, I'm sorry.
No, but you're saying that she can't continue her career and be successful?
No, of course, that's not what I'm saying at all. But there's just. You should be allowed to. I feel like there's something. Okay, I feel like you should still be allowed. Those emotions are valid, and you should have them, and you should still be accepted for who you are afterwards. But at the same time, I don't know if I'm expressing this right. At the same time, there are just, I guess it's just I don't know. I just think about it. There just feels like disingenuous to me because of it's her brand, and hearing it from other people, from punk, from amazing punk rockers and R&B artists and hip hop artists, and who have just built their brands on just being super honest, but also not caring if in the moment that they don't seem nice anymore. And they're still being honest, and and they deserve to be loved in their flaws and in their negativity. And I still feel like listening to this album, she still wants me to think that she's like a nice girl. And so it's just I'm not feeling it. And so it's not because her emotions. It's not because she has nothing interesting to say. It's just because I feel like there's something about the dichotomy. It just doesn't feel.
You don't think it feels genuine?
Not to me, no.
Yeah.
So that's why. So yeah, told you I wasn't a Swiftie. Nobody believed me.
You invited me to talk about it.
And I'm loving everything that you have to say, and I appreciate your perspective.
Well, that's the thing. It's like I feel like I can
too.
be like, Sam, I don't agree with you, and 2 minutes later we can be having a conversation about something else and be totally fine. I know that both of us can talk about this and not get our feelings hurt about it, because I don't But I just
Tell me to go fuck myself.
no, because I don't want to. I just feel. I think maybe like because like I know so many of the things that were happening at that time. I don't think she's talking about wanting to be a pop star anymore. I think she's talking about being like, I don't want to be like mocked and ridiculed. You can criticize
Yes.
me,
No,
and
I
you
know.
can
I
have
know.
you can have stuff. I don't want I don't want somebody to make a music video looking like I'm having sex with them in it. Like I think that's
Yeah.
what
No,
she's
that's
talking
gross.
about.
That's disgusting. No,
And
that's
like
disgusting.
she during this time she was also in a lawsuit about like being sexually assaulted,
Yeah.
and she sued the guy for $1, and he still has a job after groping one of the most famous women on the planet. And as a woman, hearing that
No,
even the most powerful woman on the planet, a guy can do that to you and still be totally fine, it's sad. And
yeah.
then, but seeing her in a bathtub filled with $1 bills, being like "fuck you," like I still like she'd still got her day in court. That's like the message that like I take from
Okay.
that. Not saying
Okay.
you can't take yours. I'm just saying.
Okay. Well, no, thank you for no. I really appreciate what you have to say. Thank you. It's really no. It's really giving me a lot to think about. No, it has no. I appreciate that. Thank you. Um,
So what's wrong
thank
with
you.
saying fuck
Thank
you
you.
and wanting
Um,
the world to still love you? I don't.
okay. Moving on.
Ryan's
Whatever. It's
like,
still like a minute.
"Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo."
All right. Yes. No. All right. Number 7. Lover.
I'll go. Okay, so I love Lover. I think Lover again is an underrated, like Fearless. I finally cracked the code on Lover recently, and I've found that it's about anxiety and kind of like bouncing back into something, but you're like wanting to feel yourself again, but there's a lot of trepidation, and there's a lot of insecurity, and I think that there's a lot of nuance in everything that she says and expresses in this album based on everything that I just said. It's a very adult album, and like I actually think that the song list is pretty solid. I mean, it has some obvious flaws, but like I genuinely have a ride high on Lover whenever I'm listening, and I always have like a few times a year where I'm in a Lover mood. So and my favorites are Cornelia Street and Afterglow.
Okay. I'll go next since I know Garrison has a lot to say about this one. Um, the first 2 singles on this album, I did not think were so hot, and when I heard them, oh no, like what's happening here? Is this? I was actually like, oh no, is this the Reputation tour, she got lambasted for Reputation, unfairly, I think. But at the same, I mean, I don't love that album, but at the same time, I know she was going through a lot at the time, and I realized it was a response to what she was going through. So I was kind of thinking, oh, is Taylor's domination over pop culture like over now? Is that what's happening? Like, if these singles keep coming out and they're like not that good. And then she released the title track as the next single, and no song she's ever composed has made me feel as happy and as romantic as that one. And it's just it's just so incredibly lovely. And it seemed to me like she had found happiness again, and that made me really happy. So, because why not? I want everybody to be happy. It's
I
unhappy.
don't. I'm just teasing.
I know, honey, but you have to. But it's. Honestly, it's misery loves company. It's unhappiness that spreads unhappiness. So I want people to be happy. And so then I heard the album, and I think the biggest complaint, because this is not as Brian mentioned, this is not one of her better received albums, like amongst the fandom. Like it tends to be like placed in the lower end. And I think that's unfortunate, because I think might be her most underrated album. I think that the problem is that there's like the biggest complaint I saw when I was doing research on this was like a lack of like a unifying sound amongst the songs. And I said, okay, but did you guys remember what's on here? Like the first half of this album is stacked. Like it's so. I mean, you have "Cruel Summer," you've got the title track, you have again Cornelia Street, which. I mean, you have "Cruel Summer," you've got the title track, 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 you've got even if you know that it's actually about a mansion with a swimming pool, it's still great. So, Paper Rings, um, you know, I forgot that you existed. Like, there's like so like the first half of this album is like really is really charming, and the Archer. Oh my God. So it's really blithe, and there's kind of a it's and it really seems to have it's come from a place where where she really I get the feeling that that she has found happiness in this when she made this, and I love that for her. And I'm just very, very glad that she got to express that. And I feel like what happened is it's kind of I'm not going to say it's a return to her earlier work, but I think it's a more grown up version of her earlier work. And I think that it's, again, just a place where it's, again, there's negativity in life too. Everything is a balance, but I feel like this album is her version of what it's like to be in like a happy adult relationship. I think it's lovely, and like I said, I wish her all. I always want her to be happy. I wish her all the best, as I do for everybody. So
Um,
Um,
sorry, Garrison, you go ahead.
are you sure?
Yeah, no, for sure.
Uh, this is probably my least favorite era from Taylor. Not my least favorite album, but some of the comments that you said, Sam, about Reputation, I might apply to Lover. Now, I found I was very disappointed, but I enjoyed the video a lot, so I was having fun. It was a fun time. It was a fun time in my life, but I feel like she wanted another shake it off moment. This is where I feel like this is the most like I don't know if studio interfered. I don't know. It feels like maybe since she didn't get as much praise from Reputation, she was like, I'm going to try to make another pop album like 1989 mixed with something else, and it didn't happen. I think Me is a really nice video. It's a very grating song for me to listen to. It sounds kind of like Kids Bop to me. Um, and I do not like You Need to Calm Down. I liked it when it came out. I don't think it aged well. It doesn't sound very good to me. Um, Lover was actually the first single that I connected to from the album that I thought was wonderful, and I think the video was very good, and I think it sounds very tailored. Um, if the singles choice and the rollout would have been better, I think it would be a higher album for me. But I just remember how it felt at the time, and I just wasn't um, a fan of the rollout. That's why I think that the album itself, like if you took away some of those hip bop sounding songs to me, I think it would be a very strong album. I Think He Knows and Miss Americana and the Heartbreak Prince. I love The Archer. I love The Man. We actually use The Man when we teach CPR because it has the right BPM for like CPR, and it's a favorite for the crowd to do, and it's one of the I want to say like American Heart released it as one of the songs. Cruel Summer, I am sadly to admit that I did not like that song when the album came out, and I know it had its moment almost 2 years ago now, and I think it's a great song. I just think my I think the singles just made me feel differently about the album that I wasn't able to appreciate the really like Soon You'll Get Better is a great song. And it isn't about her mom, and it's a sad like it's. I used it for actually a video on YouTube for COVID because we like were really down at the time, and everybody had everybody like write in like hang in there, and we used the Taylor Swift song in it. Um, so I do have my moments and my feelings for the album. It's just I don't return to it that much. I think it's a solid album. It's just I don't return to it. Favorite song though is Soon You'll Get Better.
is what?
Soon You'll Get Better.
Uh,
Okay,
Ash.
same. Not
Huh?
because it's your favorite, because that song, like, I can't even listen to that song. It's so
Yeah.
beautiful, but so sad. Like, I, I can't even talk about that song right now, because it just breaks my heart. But also, I just want to say that it's so funny that I was talking about like misogyny and stuff while wearing probably like one of the most misogynistic characters ever of all time on my shirt. Um, but I love Lover. It's it's funny, like I don't think of this album at all as a love album. I think it's like somebody desperately wanting someone to love them the same way that they love them, and they just don't. I love the song Lover. I think one of my favorite lyrics in a song ever is like, at every table I'll save you a seat. I think it's so beautiful, and I really do think that song is so romantic. If I had to pick a song by Taylor to be in my wedding, I would pick that. But I won't play any Taylor Swift like in my like actual wedding, because I don't want any song tarnished, just in case my partner turns into a crazy person one day and we get divorced. That's my fear, is that somehow like I was like, you can tarnish this relationship, but you can never tarnish Taylor Swift for me. Maybe during the party you can play some, but I love Death by a Thousand Cuts so incredibly much. There's so many songs on here that I love. I do find it a little bit too bubblegum poppy in parts for me. And then I think another part of it that I didn't connect to it at first is because of when it was released. So Lover came out, and then all of a sudden we were in lockdown, and like her tour, like the tour was obviously canceled, and so like I just wasn't like focused on that as much. And so like I enjoyed the album, but like it was just a little bit too like upbeat for me to like listen to at the time. I'm glad that I come to it a lot more. Cruel Summer is one of my favorite songs to sing or to drive. Like too, it feels very like I imagine like if I always picture like the kids from Stranger Things being like adults, like listening to this and like picturing them like they're imagining their old summers when they were young, and they're riding bikes and having fun and swimming in a lake and being chased by monsters. But I guess like something like Now and Then would have been a better example than Stranger
Oh,
Things.
that's funny. Yeah.
But this album, it's just, I agree with Ryan. I feel like it feels like really heavy in anxiety. So that might be why sometimes I find it a little bit harder to listen to, and I have to be in like I'll get into moods where I just like want to like listen to Lover so bad. But there is something that always makes me a little bit hesitant, because I think it is that anxiety. And as like a girl who is anxious all the time, maybe I can relate to it too much sometimes. And sometimes like that is just like, I don't want to think about that right now. I just want to listen to Getaway Car and like just
I
have
feel
fun.
you.
You know what
No,
I mean?
I feel you.
But don't get it twisted. I love Lover.
I feel you. I feel you. Anxiety is something I have too. I get it. So because we're running a little short on time, what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to try to for the next thing I want to put Folklore and Evermore into one and like discuss them both in the net for the next round, because the albums are related. So here we go with number 8 and number 9, Folklore and Evermore. All right. Floor is open to it. Go.
I'll start. Okay, so Folklore and Evermore. Oh my gosh, so Folklore was my longtime fave. It was like the album where I really became interested in Taylor. It's deep, it's spiritual, wonderful instruments, like, and it's like the moment like where she starts to take on this whole other version of herself that none of us ever saw before in terms of like the poetry that she was writing. And it's so dynamic, and like it's great. So over time though, it has faded for me a bit. Just because for me, all the stories don't really add up cohesively to one overall vision in the way that Evermore does. So, but I will say that my favorite songs are Exile and Illicit Affairs. So with Evermore, oh my God, I think it's the best writing she's ever done. It's every single line in Evermore is sharp as a tack. It's so purposeful. The words are exquisitely picked. It's just a home run. Every song is a home run for me. And like it takes the approach of Folklore, but it's very focused. And there's like this haunting thing about Evermore that's just about like the end of something or the longing for something new because something is dying. And there's a change that happens, right? So my favorites on Evermore are "'Tis the Damn Season," "Champagne Problems," and "No Body, No Crime."
All right, okay. Thank you, Ryan. That was all. That was wonderfully succinct review. So it's interesting to me. Folklore. It has almost like written in stone at this point that it's the best album of Taylor's career. Like you just like look across the board, almost every like most people have it ranked at number one. Like when all the it was like it's like the most critically acclaimed album of her career. It's one of the four albums she won Album of the Year for at the Grammys. And again, it's interesting to me because it is a branching out for her in that way, in terms of like the more themes she explores. It's more openly poetic, and yet for some reason, for me, it feels like I don't feel it the way I felt some of her other albums. It feels like a more like intellectual empathizes an empathy than like an actual empathy, and a lot of the writing is really beautiful, but I don't connect with it for some reason. There's like a lot of songs in it, like Cardigan is beautifully written, but it's just but I don't again for some reason I don't feel it. I don't really know why. It just like maybe because I don't know. I think maybe too much was made of the fact that like these are like these two albums are like now specifically non-autobiographical, and so I think that with her making that statement, it was trying to branch out. But I guess maybe I got too stuck in that rigidly and just like viewed it that way and didn't feel it. I don't know. Having said that, I think the song that works best on it is probably Betty. I would probably is probably the one that I like the most, mostly because I think I can tell that it's not autobiographical. So I think I can just like enjoy that. Whereas with Evermore, I'm surprised that the critical consensus is that it's the lesser of the two albums. I'm not really sure why, because I think it's really strong. I think that album is really, really strong. I think it is. I think it's beautifully written. I think there's a number of showstoppers on it. You mentioned a couple of them already. "'Tis the Damn Season" is hilarious. Champagne Problems is so elegant and decadent. It's just like delicious to listen to. But some of the wisdom and insight that she pulls out on that one really just kind of took my breath away in a way that surprised even me. If any album could make me a Swiftie, it might be this one. I'm not sure. And for my favorite song, I'm gonna have to go with Coney Island, because there is a line on that one where they both say, and I think it's probably the greatest line she's ever written. It's, "Will you forgive my soul when you're too wise to trust me and too old to care?" And I'm like, oh my God, that just cut deep. So, yeah, that's my take.
I love these albums. Shocker. I
Blow my socks off.
I know. I love everything that you guys said. I agree with a lot of it. I enjoy how everything's not wow. Okay, whatever. I was like, we don't have time, Ashley, just keep going. But I think there is a lot of I think it might be more connected to her than she even realized at the time, like hearing songs that came later. I think that maybe she was like, oh, this is a fictional tale. But then it's like, wait, maybe this was actually what I was feeling. I love when she talks about this album. You can tell she's really, really proud of both of them. My personal favorite songs are probably No Body, No Crime, just because I love a murder mystery. And I think
Same.
it's so funny that she wrote about that. I also really love the song Marjorie. I loved how she incorporated her grandma's like opera vocals in it. And I think that's so sweet. And I also really love Betty, and I also really love Last Great American Dynasty. I love how she took like a true story about the woman who owned the house that she did before, or that owned the house that she lives in previous to her, and like told her story about how everybody thought she was crazy, and just was like, maybe she was, but that's awesome.
That's me.
Also, and Tolerate It.
Yeah.
Jake Garrison.
Okay, so this is where we return to like Taylor's making an album for me. Like, no, I remember when this album dropped. I was sitting right where I'm sitting now. I was off work because this came out during the thick of COVID for my area, and it's something I needed. It's something that I mean, I remember being able to watch the video. I think the video for Cardigan is extremely good. I think it's beautiful. I think that's when she started directing the music videos. I think Cardigan is a very sweet and loving song. The One is a very loving song, but then you go into the direction of, I love Mad Woman. I think Mad Woman is one of her best songs because I think it has the angst, but it's still beautifully refined. Epiphany meant a lot to me because it mentions like, I think she's crashing now. It like seems like a point of view she's seeing from like a medical person, or you can relate to that. It makes me cry because I was not taking care of patients who were actively dying during COVID. I was taking care of patients who had I took care of a lot of pregnant people that you know couldn't even sit on the side of the bed because they couldn't breathe, and they were on not a full breathing machine, but almost there. So there were so many sick kids that I took care of. It was exhausting. It was exhausting trying to get people to like wear masks, and I won't go there, but I just think that this album really captured that feel of like being a healthcare worker during the time, like this, like epiphany, and it meant a lot to me that Taylor's saying from that point of view, even though she's not in healthcare, I think. And then this is me trying, like, I think we can all relate to that song of like during that moment, like you're just trying to get through the day. I do agree with you. I think I like more songs on Folklore than Evermore, but I cry even more when I listen to Evermore. I think Willow is a much needed break from the sadness. I think the video is great again, and I like the witchy feel, like very practical magic feel of that song. But the one song, my favorite song from both of them, I like Epiphany from Folklore is my favorite. My favorite from Evermore is Tolerated because I think it captured something, probably my favorite Taylor song or the most I relate to. Sorry for my family that listens to this. I don't necessarily. It's like one of those moments where you just like those feelings capture. I think she captured that feeling of like I love my family very much, but it also feels like they just tolerate my love. Like you don't feel like if you're not because I'm bad or bad. I live in a very conservative area, and I'm gay, obviously, and it's not very accepted here. So you just feel like you're very a tolerated person. They love you, but they don't truly love you because they say hurtful things that they don't think that you'll hear, or they don't think because they think of you as a person, but they don't think of what they say is very hurtful. And I think that song really captures that feeling of like you're just tolerated, and it's a horrible feeling, but the fact that she can capture it in such a beautiful song, and it just captures how I feel in a moment of my life that I think it's just super special, and I think it's just one of the best songs I think that written. I mean, she captures it with Ronan. She captures it. There's very special songs I find, but I think it's just one of her very special.
Amazing. Final thoughts, anybody?
I think these two albums are the music that she's set and that she's meant to make.
I mean, it was definitely like it feels like it was definitely pandemic inspired. And again, there was just something about the feel of the albums was very different, and it was again much more folksy. It was much more folk than anything she'd ever done before. And again, genre hopping, which is something that a lot of people do, and so I think it's just bizarre that she would take a lot of flack for it. But I also, but it's just so, it was undeserved, but again, just so strange because a lot of people do it. And so it just seems, and it's usually a sign of creativity. So, she should get credit for it as well, but not necessarily any more than anyone else, than many of the other people who have like done it before her. It should have just been a non-issue as far as I'm concerned. It's like, it's just part of being artist. Okay. Number 10, Midnights.
I'll go. Okay.
All
So,
right.
so I love Midnight's. To quote my good friend Ash, I love this album. No, I do. I think it's some of her best style. It's like such like fierce, inventive production for my money. Like I just think like there's such imaginative like different song topics on top of like the instrumentals and like the vibe of each of the songs. And it feels like cool. It feels like very hip. It feels very like hipster kind of. And I love the vibe of that. Like it's all about the atmosphere of Midnight's, I think. It's very artistic. And it's interesting how she says everything is just as important as what she's saying. And there's so much depth to what she's saying, of course, you know. So, but yeah, so and I have to say some of my favorite songs ever are on Midnight's. So yeah, I can't. It's really hard for me to rank it much lower than like where I have it in my ranking, just because there's so many bangers. But my favorite is "You're Losing Me," which was the From the Vault released bonus track. So I love "You're Losing Me." I also love "Maroon" and "Antihero," and so yeah.
Yeah, I love Midnights. I feel like this is like what I wanted after Evermore and Folklore. I think this feels like grown up Taylor Swift to me. I feel like it's like a opening up like a book of her life and getting like a little chapter of all of these like events that took place. And I just feel like it's really fun. I love how different all of the songs feel. Like I don't care if stuff's cohesive all the time. Like I'm just like whatever. Like you do you put the album you want out. Like it doesn't really bug me. Like I listened to this in a pitch black room in a bathtub. And I'll never forget the jump scare I got from Midnight Rain, about being like, whoa, like that's like such like a difference. But my favorite songs are probably Vigilante Shit and Woulda Coulda Shoulda.
Okay.
Uh,
No. Go ahead.
this is I go back and forth because the songs I love on this album I think I love a lot. I think I was not ready for another Taylor era, but I got one and I absolutely love. I don't know what I love about that, but I think the artwork inside that album because I bought it's one of the first one, not the first one, but I really was excited to get the record, and I think her artwork on the inside is just some of the most beautiful that she's used. It's simple, but like you said, Ryan, I like the hipstery vibe without it being too try hard of this album. Because I think that's probably where she's at in life and her true style. I think the video for Anti-Hero is one of my favorite of her music videos. I think it's fun, I think it's playful, but I also think it means a lot. I think Anti-Hero is one of her better singles as well. It's fun. I just liked everything about. I guess what ties me to a lot of movies, I say, and a lot of like pop culture is the rollout, like how you experience it. And I know we can all experiencing things, but when I experienced this live, it was one of my favorite times. Like, and my favorite song, it is my favorite Taylor Swift song. Honestly, is Maroon. I talked about it on your podcast. I think it's experimental for her. I think it dives into that sexy sound, but also being like really deep and stuff. I love Lavender Haze. I love Midnight Rain. I love. I do like Karma. I like Glitch a lot. I think it's a great song. But I just think these visuals are very cohesive too. Even though like that, I agree with Ashley that the album is not really cohesive. I just think she has a really very muted but very colored as well. Like I like how like everything's really colorful, but it's also got that very muted vibe to it that you kind of could see those colors in We're Never Getting Back Together. I do think it's on par with everything she's done. Probably not making much sense, but I just think it's an album I return to the most, even though it doesn't have my favorite songs all the way. Like I don't listen to the whole thing like I do 1989. I just return to it a lot. I think about it a lot, and I probably listen to Maroon like every other day.
Wow.
Maroon.
Okay. Okay. So, well, kudos to all involved for Taylor giving us maybe the most memeable like music video of certainly of her career and one of all time. So that's great. But honestly, I'm not into this one that much. It's it feels like a breakup album to me, and that's fine. There's plenty of breakup albums out there. It's a it's always good. It's always personal, but I don't know. I feel. I mean, as always, she's a she's been a master. She's a master of melody and she's a master of lyrics. But something about this album just feels very pretentious to me. I just feel like there's a lot of other breakup albums out there that I've listened to and absorbed over the course of my life. Rumors by Fleetwood Mac, anything by like Carole King back in the day. Uh, you know, Joni Mitchell, just like the profundity. This one is just feels kind of bewildering to me, and there's a lot of specificity in the lyrics, but it almost seems like self-consciously specific, and it feels like reaching in a way that it doesn't normally feel like that way for me from her. So
Well, and
it's
I just
still.
want to, Sam, can I just defend like what you're saying? Like a lot of Swifties feel the same way you do. This is a weirdly mixed response among Swifties. Some people think that it is pretentious and that it's too vague, in terms of Taylor like almost like trying to conceal what was really going on in her relationship at that time. So what you're saying isn't just because the three of us really like it doesn't mean like you're out of left field here.
Well, I mean, I appreciate you, Ryan, coming in to say that. Thank you for, trying to make sure that I feel not alone. I appreciate that. I still feel strongly enough to be confident in my opinion, and I'm not worried about the fact that like Garrison and Ashley are gonna secretly try to kill me like next week. But I do, but that's okay. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I mean, it's very nice and considerate, and I appreciate you backing me up in that way. I appreciate the solidarity. Thank you. That being said, I still love y'all. So, any final thoughts on Midnight's? Before a ghost noose appears behind me. Okay, and then so finally we have TTPD, the Tortured Poets Department. I might as well just start. I think that the reason this album disappoints me so much is because I don't really feel that I've learned anything new about her style, her persona. Not that she has to tell me, not that she has to clue me into bits of her life or anything like this, or anything like that. But I think at this late in the game, I think it's important, if you're going to make an album with 341 songs on it, that you need to there needs to be something in there, like something new, either texturally or new emotionally. And oh, I forgot to mention my favorite song on Midnights is Lavender Haze. But there is nothing here that I find really uniquely catchy or hummable, or anything that opens up her style, or her again her brand in any way that I find resonant or meaningful. I will say that I think the only song on here that I really remember is But Daddy I Love Him. But but again, the album is so long, and there's so much going on there, and I unfortunately, I just don't feel like there's enough going on here to justify that length.
All right. Well, I'll kick us off next. I think the Torture Poets Department is a magnificent accomplishment. It is exactly the kind of sad, angry girl that I am on the inside, and I think she had to make this album. I think it was something that was inherent inside her, and she had to get it out. And I think this song, the writing on this is so complex. It's so honest. It's so dark in places. It's so brilliant. This is something that should be studied in an academic setting, which is, I know, completely the opposite of what Sam just said. But it's very much a Ryan era. So Yeah, I love it. My favorites are So Long London and LOML.
I guess who I agree with more. Um, uh, I love this album. I can't not say it. I don't know how else to start. Uh, Tortured Poets was a really fun time. I was not expecting her to put out a 31 song album in the middle of like one of the biggest tours of all time. So that's why I really feel like she was just like she literally has said like I had to like purge like my feelings and I can completely understand where Sam's coming from because I feel like it's one of those albums where I don't mean like I feel like it's like you get it or you don't, but like not in a way that like I'm not saying you don't understand the album. I mean like you more like you relate to it. You don't like it's like one of those kind of like niche TV shows, like something like Community, where people either like love it so deeply or they just like don't connect to it, and it's like it's not bad, but it's like not really like my thing. Um, I love this album. I think it's really fun. Um,
I think it's really
I
fun.
I do. I think it's so fun. I think there's like a lot of really fun songs on here. Like Who's Afraid of Little Old Me is like so, but I think fun in a way where it makes me be like, "Arr!" Like I love how much it makes me feel. Um, and like something like So High School where she's like really talking about like stuff that she's never really like vocally like spoken about. But my favorite songs are probably The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived and The Black Dog. Also,
Okay.
um, I went to the Black Dog
Aw.
in London.
Love it. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's a fun place.
Is it my turn?
Yeah, go.
I didn't like the album when I first listened to it, and then what I think is special about this album is that you discover like new things that you like every time you listen to it. And I think it will always be that way
Yeah.
because I think it's a very special album because I think Fortnite is great. I think the video is great. I think I love like she kind of experimented with the look in the video, and I think it's the most poppy of the. But I can relate to Down Bad Crying at the Gym. I think it's a very much God. I hate to sound like it, a diary, but I think it's like I can't go to my next great thing or my next like polished pop album until I put this out. Like there's a lot of work on this. There's probably a lot of confusion, like being on the biggest tour of your life and going through the biggest breakup of your life at the same time, and then dating somebody that you really think is fun and you know different than who she's dated before. That's a lot of emotion, and there's a lot of songs that come from that. And I'm sure as an artist, she wants to put it out there, like, and dump it out there, and like, here, you can have all my feelings for the past few years. They're big, and um, my favorite song from the album is Clara Bow.
Okay, I like it.
Um, I think it just really, it's what she's thinking about. Hey, there's all these women throughout history, and there's always somebody else coming up that's being compared in the new you, and there's going to be like, hey, you remind me of Taylor Swift. That's going to happen, right? It's already happened with Olivia Rodrigo. Like people are saying things like that, even though she's still the biggest pop star. I think it's just a really beautiful story, and it made me look up the Clairvaux story. It's just, I honestly, the song makes me want to cry, and the song's just really great. I think it's a great art direction. I just think it's a great song by Taylor. I don't have a direction, but I also love Florida because I love Florence and the Machine, and I love how contrasting their voices are, and I think it's a very different song for Taylor to have on her album. Um, LOML, love of my life and loss of my life. How bad and like devastating. And I love to listen to my friends call me an emotional cutter. I will listen to the saddest song in the world and like work through my shit. Like I think a sad song is so cathartic, like and then I feel better afterwards. And a sad movie will make me cry, a sad song will make me cry, and I will feel better afterwards. And Taylor is great for that. Like so I also think London Boy is so sad, and I feel so good listening to
So
it.
long,
Like,
London.
yeah, or so long, whatever. Not London Boy. London Boy's fun. I'm sorry. Um, I Can Fix Them because it's so playful. It's just such a playful song. I love how it ends. Um, and I even like I don't like I will skip it unless I'm like subconsciously just listening to the album. But the Tortured Poets Department song is like really I'll listen to the whole thing. Uh, And I think that that's about it. But I have a new appreciation every time I listen to this album, and so that's why I think it's one of her special albums. I don't return to it as much as like Midnight's, but when I accidentally return to it, I like sneakily I listen to the whole thing because I just think it's so random. I love that. I love that.
Amazing. Garrison, thank you so much. Thank you all so much for doing this. This has been a lot of fun. All right, now, okay, million dollar. Now we've got the $1,000,000 round. So,
Ryan, are you good to stay for a few minutes?
Yeah.
Okay.
okay, I know. Out of respect for your time, Ryan, so I wanted to get this really fast as quickly as possible. All right, so we're all gonna do we're gonna do our album rankings. I'm gonna start. We're gonna go around the room. So it's gonna go me, Garrison, Ryan, Ashley. And so we're gonna do each ranking number one. So I'll start 11th place, Tortured Poets Department. Garrison.
Debut.
What?
De-
The debut.
Debut? Okay, Ryan.
debut.
Okay, Ash.
Lover.
Okay. 10th place, debut. Garrison.
Lover.
Okay, Ryan.
Oh, you're gonna kill me. 1989. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I lost a producer just now. We have a vacancy at the Screw with Ryan 6 Hours podcast.
We're not in front of the 1989 cardigan.
Ash, what's your number 10?
Fearless.
Okay,
Ashley's like, does it matter? No.
that's hilarious. Oh my god, that. I was not expecting that. That was funny. Number 9, Reputation. Garrison.
Sparks Fly. No, what is the album? What is that?
Speak now.
Speak now. Sorry, you're stressing me out, Sam. With the speed round, I'm stressed out.
Oh my
Okay.
god. Mine
You
is
should be used to
also
those.
yeah. How about it? I mean, I give them to you guys all the time. Come on.
All right.
So, Reputation is my number 9. So
Okay.
we're same, Sam.
All right, Ash.
Speak now.
Okay. All right. Number 8. I am. Wait, which? Oh, Midnight's. Garrison.
Torture Poets Department.
Okay.
Oh
Right.
my god, Lover.
Okay. Ash.
Debut.
Okay. Number 7. Folklore. Garrison.
Fearless.
Okay. Rye.
Mine's also Fearless.
Okay. Ash.
Red.
Oh. Ooh. God, good to be a fly on the wall between you two tonight. All right.
We just kissed.
I'm getting it now. Number 6. Fearless. Rye. I'm sorry. Garrison.
Number 6. Evermore.
All right. Ryan.
Folklore.
Okay. Ash.
Midnights.
Okay. Number 5. Speak Now. Garrison.
Folklore.
Ryan.
Midnights.
Okay. Ash.
The Tortured Poets Department.
All right. Number 4. Lover. Garrison.
Midnight.
Ryan.
Speak Now.
Oh. Okay. Ash.
Folklore.
Okay. Number 3. Red. Garrison.
Reputation.
Ryan.
Evermore.
Ash.
We're on 3, right?
Yeah.
Ryan. Evermore.
All right. Number 2. 1989. Garrison.
1989.
Oh my god. Okay.
Ryan.
The Torture Poets Department.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And Ash.
Reputation.
All right. And finally, our picks for our number 1 Taylor albums. Evermore. Garrison.
Red.
Okay. Ryan.
Red.
Ash.
1989.
Guys, that was awesome. Thank you all so much. This was a lot of fun. I really appreciate you all. And to all of you watching, appreciate you all and really hope you enjoyed this super mega sized episode. And we look forward to seeing you at the next one. Good night, everybody.
All right. Thank you.
Bye. Look up Clara Bow.